It has been to 2005 for this man. Qananiisaa Bekele, he lost his fiancée on January the 4th. እ.ኤ.አ and Qananiisaa were out on a training run back at home in Ethiopia. And እ.አ, she died of a suspected heart attack out there on the road. Inevitably, there was a lot of doubt as to whether Bekele would be competing here, but here he is, and perhaps seeking a unique fourth double. The men's short race, it's just the 8th running of the race, and so far Kenya have won 4 of them, and Bekele, i.e. Ethiopia, have won 3. 4,196 metres, 2 laps of the track. The green vests of Ethiopia and Qananiisaa Bekele showing prominently at the front from the start. You can also see there the vest of Qatar. They're represented here by 2 former Kenyans, Saif Said Shaheen, formerly known as Stephen Chirono, an outstanding steeplechaser to say the least, and Abdullah Ahmed Hassan, the former Albert Chep Karui. He also goes in the long race here, as indeed does Shaheen. So Bekele, nearest to the camera. Alongside him, Abdullah Ahmed Hassan, wearing 105 there, Khalid El Amri, the Moroccan. So once again, as I think will be the story of the day, the Kenyans and the Ethiopians packing well at the front, although the Qataris having a good run, and you can see them both there. The former Albert Chep Karui, Abdullah Ahmed Hassan at the front alongside Bekele. Saif Said Shaheen lying back in 3rd place at the moment. Just over one of those undulations there. It's a very interesting course with log obstacles, those 12-foot mounds. And you can see Shaheen out there on the outside. So 3 Qatari vests at the moment in the leading 12. Although I think you've got to make the point, it is still very much the early stages. But Qananiisaa Bekele, what an athlete he is. On the country, he's won his last 19 races. Starting in Newcastle, that was back on the 29th of December 2001. Unbeaten over the country since then. Last year on the track, of course, those 2 world records over 5,000 metres and 10,000 metres. And right at the front now, in the white vest, you can see Rashid Ramsey wearing 20. A handful of Kenyans around him as well. And Saif Said Shaheen, the steeplechase world record holder. I think we can expect something from him here as well. Bekele out in front, Ramsey there in 2nd place, wearing 101, the Kenyan Shadrach Kosgei, and you can see 3 Qatari vests packing well on the outside there. But up one of those mounds, kicking on, Qananiisaa Bekele, Kosgei in 2nd place, Ramsey there in 3rd. .134, that is Salem, lying in 4th place. But look at the familiar gait as well, back in about 6th place of Shaheen. Incredible sprint speed, that man. He perhaps the biggest challenger here to Bekele, if indeed there is one. But doesn't the Ethiopian look comfortable at the front? He said after he won his 3rd double last year that there was no way he would attempt to do it on a 4th occasion. But he's back here again for the short race, and there are some of those log barriers, proving very little problem for these athletes. Been running now for almost 4 minutes. He's expecting to be out there for somewhere in excess of 11 minutes. This race just a little more than 4,000 metres, 4,196 in all. 2 laps of the track with that finishing spur of 284 metres. There we are, it's more like a hurdle race in this section. Bekele out in front, Salem in 2nd place, Ramsey still going well there in 3rd. The Kenyans also featuring. On to another lap. And there on the inside, Shadrach Kosgei wearing 101, he's the leading Kenyan at the moment. But Bekele just taking a look over his left shoulder. Just checking who's there. If he looks and cranes his neck, you'll see 3 Qataris, including Saif Said Shaheen, the former Stephen Chirono. He appears to be just waiting to make his move. field now thinning out at the front. And it's Qananiisaa Bekele turning up the pace, although the Qataris have come to the front now. 3 in the first 4. This is through the mud section. And right at the front now, Salem. Alongside him, Hassan. And just for a moment, the 3 Qataris starting to dominate. And here comes the move. Saeed Shaheen kicking on, and he's opening up a gap on the field, and this is certainly a decisive move, but is it the winning move? And Qananiisaa Bekele getting after him now, the gap about 15 metres, and it really has broken up the field, but has it shaken off the champion? The winner of this title for the last 3 years, Qananiisaa Bekele. We've talked about the problems he's had, which have inevitably distracted his preparation for these championships. And Shaheen is really testing him, but Bekele is starting to eat into that advantage. And whilst the steeplechaser has shaken off all the field, well, it's all the field but one, because Bekele is getting after him. He runs hard off the turns to Shaheen, but Bekele's working hard to get after him, and he's closing that gap, and it's now down to 5 metres. And in the end, it's a break with only partial success, and look just how well Bekele's working up that hill. And now panic over for the Ethiopian. He's got onto the back of Shaheen, and now it seems to be a race between these two. That kick coming a little more than halfway through the race, and it hasn't proved decisive in terms of shaking off the champion. And Bekele not only catches him up, but goes straight past. What an athlete he is. You can also see they're wearing 97. Abraham Chebi, the first we've seen of him. Another outstanding 5,000 metre runner, Chebi. He's known for a fast finish. And you've got to wonder, has that move by Shaheen and the continuing work done here by Qananiisaa Bekele run the finish out of the Kenyan? It's a very strong field, make no bones about it here. Outstanding talent on the track, and that's one thing that this short race at the World Cross Country Championships has done. It's brought the world's top track runners into the World Cross Country Championships. And Bekele, whose talent of course spans such a broad range of distances, less so him, but men like Chebi and Saeed Shaheen enjoying the World Cross Country Championships here in France. But Qananiisaa Bekele, the problem appears to be over. He's going to be on his feet now for a little more than 2.5 minutes or so, but he appears to be running away from this field. So Bekele, still just 22, it's remarkable, isn't it? You consider those 3 World Cross Country Championship doubles, starting in Dublin in 2002, then on to Lausanne in 2003, then in Brussels a year ago, after which he said, that's it, I'm not going to try and do this again. He's back in 2005 and well on his way to winning the short race. Chebi's making a good move there in second place. And now less than 800 metres to go for Qananiisaa Bekele. Over those logs, those were really proving no obstacle at all to the Ethiopian. Chebi perhaps closing that gap just a little bit though. It's getting down to about 8 to 9 metres now. You can't help but think there is just something left in the tank. Shaheen, he's been relegated to 3rd. Also having a good run, Isaac Songok, the second of the Kenyans. He's making good ground at the moment. He's back in 4th place. And as Shaheen starts to fade, it looks like we could have a Kenyan 2nd and 3rd here. But Qananiisaa Bekele, he'll bear in mind that tomorrow he's going to come back and run the long race. So he wants to win this, but he doesn't want to expend too much energy. Through the mud section, well, Bekele just floats over it, doesn't he? Chebi, perhaps just struggling a bit through that. You can see he doesn't like it, does he, the Kenyan? And Bekele makes another 2 or 3 metres through that section. So now inside the last 200 metres for Qananiisaa Bekele. won so many titles, hasn't he? He won a junior title, now those 3 doubles. So this seeking his 8th World Cross Country Individual Championship. We've seen him beaten indoors this season, but now having gone home and prepared specifically for these championships, he's come back, perhaps not quite as strong as ever, but certainly strong enough to beat the rest of the world over the country. And he looks over his shoulder, and Abraham Chebby has settled for 2nd place. So Qananiisaa Bekele makes it 4 short race titles at the World Cross Country Championships. Chebby comes in for 2nd place. Songok will be 3rd. Saif Said Shaheen fading, but he will just get 4th place in front of his countryman Salim. A good run, in fact, by the Qataris. They'll have done well in the team competition here. But Qananiisaa Bekele, 11.33, 5 seconds ahead of Abraham Chebby. Isaac Songok there in 3rd, so it was 2nd and 3rd for the Kenyans. Ethiopia in 4th and 5th, and then those 3 Qataris in 6th, 7th and 8th. And as we expected, well, it's the Africans dominate, isn't it? The men's long race. And there he is, Qananiisaa Bekele. He said after Brussels last year, I will not go for another double. Well, he's not a man of his word here, is he? Because he's back again, having won a short race title 24 hours ago. The Kenyans, what a team that is. Charles Kamati, former global champion, also in the field for the Kenyans. John Cheriot Korea, Moses Mossop, Wilberforce Talal, Eliud Kipchoge, world champion at 5,000 metres 2 years ago, where he beat Qananiisaa Bekele. 12,020 metres, 6 circuits. The classic distance in many respects in cross-country running. Former champions, well, many of the greats. Ian Stewart of Great Britain won this 30 years or so ago. Carlos Lopez, remember him winning the Olympic marathon title at the age of 37 in Los Angeles in 1984, a former winner of this title. The great American Craig Virgin, John Ngugi, perhaps the greatest of them all, the Kenyan, won this title on 5 occasions, as did his countryman Paul Tergat. Qananiisaa Bekele is here, seeking to make it 4. A big field, around about 150, and already the Kenyans showing at the front, as is in the green vest, Bekele. So Bekele now unbeaten in 20 straight cross-country races. Can he make it 21? Moses Mossop is out in front. Bekele slipping back into about 4th place. Mossop, an interesting athlete, improved his 10,000 metre time a couple of years ago in a single race by almost a minute and a half. 4:30, Eliud Kipchoge. He's lying in 2nd place, just inside Bekele. Kipchoge's been in fine form on the country. He won the long course race at Edinburgh this winter, as well as winning the long title back at home in Kenya. So Kipchoge is in fine form. The vests of Qatar also showing prominently there. Abdullah Ahmed Hassan, the former Albert Chep Curry, former Kenyan of course, he's here, and this his best distance, so expect him to feature as well. They're going to be running for well over half an hour, so these very much the early stages. But with the twists and turns and the variable surface, we've got those almost man-made muddy tracks. And you can see those banks here, those humps in the course, which just upset the rhythm just a little bit. It's vital you don't try and come from too far back. There are so many twists and turns, and these obstacles demand 100% concentration all of the time. The temperatures do suit the Africans. in the high 20s. It's a wonderful day here in France. Showing prominently at the front there, the sky blue vests. Those are of Eritrea. Zasene Tedesi weighs 374, a very fine runner indeed. He won a bronze medal in the 10,000 metres at the Olympic Games last year. That in fact was Eritrea's first ever Olympic medal. He's a 27.5-minute man over 10,000 metres, so depending what sort of form he's in, expect him to be somewhere near the front today, and he's already up there with the leading leg. Bekele just looking around left and right, as is Kipchoge. These athletes know one another so well. They know who to follow. They know who will provide the opposition later on. Into the second kilometre. The pace is fierce, isn't it? Remember, this is a 12-kilometre race. The blue there of France. And it is the Eritreans making their way through to the front. Zasene Tedesi, just 23, wearing 374. He's back there just on the inside behind Bekele, and it's two of his teammates who are at the front now as they go over those logs. As I said before, they're not real barriers in themselves, but they serve to break up the rhythm. The leading group has been whittled down. Bekele alongside Kipchoge, and Kipchoge just giving him a bit of an elbow there and saying, I'm the one who's got the curb, who's got the tape, got the tight line. You're not going to take it. So it's Kipchoge, 4.30. Alongside him, 60. That's Qananiisaa Bekele. Nagera is the second of the Ethiopians. Tedesi just slipping back a little bit now into fourth place. Kipchoge is really testing the champion. And remember, Kipchoge beat Bekele in the World Championships on the track 2 years ago. But Bekele seeking what would be a remarkable fourth cross-country double. Never been done before, although you have to put that into some sort of perspective and consider the fact that it's only relatively recently that we've had 6 races, or 6 titles, individual titles that is, at the World Cross Country Championships. But Qananiisaa Bekele, alongside some great company, you would have to say, is, if he wins here, the outstanding cross-country runner of all time. So relaxed. Such a traumatic start to the year, losing his fiancée out on a training run. But here he is, and he's back, and he's got Kipchoge. It's the classic duel. It's Kenya against Ethiopia. It was over 5,000 metres in 2003 in Paris when Kipchoge beat Bekele. Also in that field, Hicham Garouge. You can see Tedesi has now moved into third place. He's had a busy winter, has Tedesi. Runs his club athletics in Spain. Tedesi, if anything, perhaps closing the gap just a little bit on the 2 men out in front. But Bekele looks so comfortable, doesn't he? Just a bit of a grimace there from the Kenyan. You're looking for the smallest signs at this stage of the race. Approaching the 10-kilometre mark. Soon they'll embark on their final circuit. 5 circuits gone, 1 to go, and there you can see a little bit of physicality. Bekele just leaning in on Kipchoge. There's the gun, signifying the final circuit. It's the classic duel. Stride for stride. Bekele just testing the Kenyan, seeing what he's got left. And there is just a suggestion of a little bit of daylight. And you can hear this big crowd getting very excited. Bekele looking for a fourth double. A short course title on the first day. On his way now, perhaps, to the long course, the long race on day 2. Now there is a gap. The crowds sense that there is history of a kind in the making here. Through the muddy section for the sixth and final time, and he does afford himself a bit of a smile. Raises his right arm. Tedesse has now moved into second place, has the Eritrean. But he's a long, long way behind the leader. It's now about, 60 metres or so, the gap. And Kipchoge has fallen away quite dramatically. So Qananiisaa Bekele will turn into the finishing straight in a couple of moments' time. There he goes, passing some lap runners. He knows how significant this is. And after such a bad start to 2005, well, this gives him some small consolation after the personal tragedy, out on a training run, which we know affected him so badly. We saw that when we saw him compete indoors. But he's back here and showing that he is the outstanding cross-country runner in the world. 21 straight victories on the country. His 9th world cross-country title. In fact, would you believe the last man to beat Qananiisaa Bekele on the country was his great countryman, Haile Gebrselassie, and that was back in Dunkirk on December the 2nd, 2001. Tedesse comes in second place, and it's going to be the former Albert Chep Karui, Abdullah Ahmed Hassan, who comes in for third place. And Eliud Kipchoge, well, he's out on his feet, isn't he? And he finishes fifth.